everybody, it's Miss Butler again. I'm coming to you this time to bring you another history-making YouTube video. This one's all about characterization. We've already been studying the 5 elements of a short story or any narration: character, setting, plot, theme, and point of view. This time we're going to break down character and characterization into a little bit more detail. First of all, what are characters? They're the people, animals, or things personified that take the part in the action of a story. There are 2 main types of characters. There are dynamic characters that change or grow during the story. A good example would be Ricky Tikki. He changed throughout the story. Shrek is definitely an example. He started out as a mean ogre, became kind, and got married. And Simba. Simba started out very cocky, very sure of himself, kind of had to go get defeated and then come back. There are also static characters. Static characters do not grow or change over the time. An example would be Scar, Chuchundra the muskrat from Rikki Tikki Tavi. Donkey is Goofy in the beginning, Goofy in the middle, and Goofy in the end. Those are some examples of static characters that really don't change their character over the course of a story. There are other character types. There are round characters. Round characters are well developed. They're convincing as people, convincing and true to life. They have many well-developed traits. They may do some good things, they may do some bad things, but overall they are very well developed. They're lifelike. Flat characters are stereotypical, shallow, and often created just to be symbols for something else. They don't have a lot of character traits. They'll have 1 or 2 defining character traits that make them symbolic. The protagonist, as you probably already know, is the central or main character in the conflict of the story. So the protagonist is going to be an actual character. On the other hand, the antagonist is the force in conflict with the protagonist. So the antagonist might be a character, it might be another character, but it also might be society, nature, fate, or it could be another character. It could also even be the protagonist's own self. That would be a man versus self conflict. So it does not have to be another character. Authors use 6 methods to really bring characters to life. There are 6 tools in their arsenal to bring characters to life. We're going to break all of these down, but just by way of introduction, they are what a character does, or his actions, what a character says, or his words, what the character thinks, what the character looks like, what other characters think or say about the character, and what the author directly states about the character. First, there's what a character does. An author can give you character traits and show you all about a character just by their actions. For example, in The Lion King, Scar goes out and kills his brother Mufasa. This reveals a lot about Scar's character. Anyone who is willing to kill their brother is probably pretty nefarious and pretty evil. So we can learn something about his character through the things that he does. Another way an author reveals character is by what a character says. For example, using Lion King as our example again because most people know that story, the young Simba came out and said, "Danger? Ha! I walk on the wild side. I laugh in the face of danger. Ha 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 ha." This reveals Simba to be a very confident, cocky young character. We can tell this character trait about Simba by what he said. Authors also can show you about a character by letting you know the character's internal thoughts and feelings. For example, Timon might have been said to have thought that he was losing his friend Simba to a girl, Nala, and he thought, "This is terrible for me." So authors will oftentimes reveal what a character is actually thinking in a story. Looks can absolutely be revealing about character. There are no accidents in fiction. Authors always have a reason for why they do the things that they do. And descriptions of characters can be very, very revealing. For example, this description of Scar. Think about what this could tell you about his character. Scar's fur was dark and matted. A large gash ran from his eyebrow to his twisted mouth, which gave the impression of a snarl even when smiling. His eyes were hooded and sharp and glanced around constantly, as if looking for threats or weaknesses. So what do you think this could reveal about Scar's character? Clearly it shows that he's not a good character. He's not a nice man. He's not a good character. It shows that he might be a little bit evil, a little bit frightening, and probably a little paranoid. You can also learn a lot about a character based on what others in the story will say about him or her. This will tell you a lot about who they are just based on what other people think or say about the character. So for instance, Simba went around saying, "Hyenas are slobbering, mangy, stupid vultures." Now this might reveal something about Simba's character, but it tells us more about the hyenas. What are the people's perceptions of hyenas? We already have an unpleasant idea about them because of what Simba has said. An author will also just directly tell you things about a character. For example, in Rikki Tikki, the author just told us flat out, Rikki Tikki was a very curious mongoose. So when an author just tells you a character trait straight out, then you know it's this method. For example, an author might say, Mufasa was a just and valiant king of the Pride Lands. We are going to be examining how all of these elements work together and finding examples of this type of characterization as we get farther into our reading. Thanks for listening.